And we're joined by Arpit Beriwal of Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Arpit, great having you. Let me start off with the index move itself. Very muted today. How are you looking at the market and what levels are you monitoring?
Very good afternoon to all. So if you see overall the headline indices, so if you see Nifty has been stuck in a range from last almost 4 to 5 weeks in a range between 23,800 on the downside, whereas on the upside 24,444, 24,500 levels. And within that, if we see interesting on daily chart, index is hovering between its 50 DMA and 200 DMA. So it's finding hurdle near its 50 DMA, but at the same time it's taking support near its 200 DMA. So Nifty has senses that overall Nifty is likely to be in a range between 23,800 to 24,444, and any decisive close about 24,450 will open the momentum towards 24,600, 24,800. Whereas on the downside, 23,800 is the major support zone. And till the time we sense that the stock specific action is likely to continue, and 23,800 is a major level to on closing basis. If it closes below that, then we can expect some weakness. But till that time, index likely to trade in this range. If we talk about Bank Nifty, so Bank Nifty also has got stuck in a range of 1,500 points from last couple of weeks. In fact, if I look at the weekly setup from last 4 weeks, then on the downside 57,000 is a support zone, whereas on the upside 58,250, 58,500 levels. So our sense is that the coming weekend we have a lot of almost majority of the private bank results, and from next week onwards you can see momentum in Bank Nifty. So overall Bank Nifty our view is mixed. On the downside 57,000 is a support zone, on the upside 58,250 is the hurdle levels to watch out for.
For IT, Arpit? What about IT, Arpit?
So if you see IT index, as the results are already kicked in and few of the IT companies have already come up with the results. So now looking at the IT index, definitely if I see technique from the monthly perspective, we have seen some pullback from the lower levels, major support levels of almost 26,500. We have seen good recovery from the lowers on the monthly time frame. Having said that, if we see on the daily time frame, it is consolidating. And looking at the overall index wise, I think the major price wise correction has been already discounted and has been already done, but within the certain pockets are looking good. And if you see particularly mid cap ITs, for example, if I look at the chart of Persistent, relatively Persistent looks good recovery from the lower levels. So overall, it's a mixed bag. Few counters outperforming, few counters underperforming. And if you want to play on the bounce side move, so Persistent is the counter that we are looking out for. A good base formation on the monthly time frame.
Okay, we've got Arpit on a patchy line. Arpit, we'll just fix that line of yours. Arpit, any of these companies from within the EMS basket standing out? We've seen a very decent rally from the lows, by the way, uh, especially in something like a Dixon, where the stock is up now, I believe, 40 or 50% from the lows. What's the sense?
If we see overall the broader market is outperforming, and if we see a very stock specific theme specific action is going really well. And if I look at the chart of Dixon, if I just pull out the monthly chart, so stock went vertical rally from 6,000 to 18,000, and post that we have seen a corrective move towards 10,000 levels. But if we see the beauty of the chart, a very strong recovery on the monthly time frame. We have seen good recovery from the lower levels from almost 11,000 to 14,000 levels, but the bigger trend is positive. So our sense is that definitely we can see overall good momentum towards 15,000, 16,000 plus levels. So the bigger trend is positive. Overall, kind of a buy and dip counter from a positional perspective. Along with that, one more counter that looks within the similar space is Syrma SGS. So if we see very strong setup was seen on the monthly time frame, though we have seen a very good rally from 900 to 1400 levels, but in spite of that rally from last 4 weeks, the stock is holding at life high territory. That clearly indicates the relative strength is quite strong. Trading away short-term moving averages, and the next level to watch out for is around 1550, 1600 plus levels. So Syrma and Dixon still looks promising on charts from a positional perspective.
Right. Okay, what we'll do is slip into a very short break. Arpit, hold on. We'll come back straight to you on the other side. Stay with us. Arpit, from within the power sector, anything that's standing out to you? How do you play power as a theme?
If we see overall, the power space has been in action. If we see a couple of counters such as Tata Power, JSW Energy, though they have been sideways. So few days there is some pullback move and post that there is consolidation. So if I look at setup of Tata Power particularly, so if I look at the monthly setup, definitely the stock was seen a good rally from 350 to almost 450 levels. Post that the stock has gone into a corrective phase and forming lower and lower structure. So if we see overall the sector is in a sideways consolidation, and so far there's no major momentum has been picked up in overall the space so far. So I think within that, if we see particular counters such as Adani Power, so if we see Adani Power is relatively outperforming within the entire power space and holding well at its life high territory. So since once the momentum picks up, Adani Power is likely to lead from here. So monthly setup is strong. On the weekly scale, it is forming lower highs but holding well above its 50 DEMA. So I think Adani Power would be a good buy if it corrects towards 205 to 110 levels with major support around 190 for an upside move towards 240 to 250 for the next 1 to 2 months time frame.
Okay. And some movers as well in trade today, Arpit. I wonder how you what you make of the moves on MRPL, Chennai Petro, these kinds of 7 to 10% kind of moves sustainable? Should you go long at these levels as well or hold off?
So definitely we have to see the trend of the stock. And firstly, if I look at the trend of the stock of MRPL, after a very long time, we have seen such a sharp up move. If I look at the bigger trend, the stock is still sideways with negative bias. So it's better to wait and let it be take a breather. Important is whether the next day we see a follow buying action or no. If there's no buying action, it's better to avoid because such counters generally they move for 1 to 2 days in a rapid move of 8 to 10% and post that they are again in a corrective phase. So it's better to take a breather and take a look at the sectors that are relatively outperforming and in continuously uptrend.
Okay.